at one point yesterday, I guess you were no vote on the bill, but at the end of the day, you changed your mind. What changed it?
Well, meeting with McCarthy right before the vote yesterday afternoon to have my concerns heard. I even wrote an op-ed about my priorities to balance the budget or have a path forward to talk about a balanced budget amendment. And I got the Speaker's commitment yesterday to work with us on that. We even sent him draft language last night in order to do that. But I also got a commitment from him to work with us on other issues like women's issues and gun violence issues, something that I've been very passionate about since coming to Congress. I came to Congress to work. I have one voice and one vote, and I want to get things done. That's what we were hired to do. Yeah, but we know that this is probably going to fail in the Senate, and the president has already vowed to veto it. The president finally responded to Speaker McCarthy yesterday. Here's what he said. Watch.
Happy to meet with McCarthy, but not on whether or not the debt limit gets extended. That's not negotiable.
Says it's not negotiable, Congressman.
Well, the ball is in Biden's court today, and clearly Biden is dropping the ball for the American people. We can't continue doing what we've always done with $31 trillion in debt. This is an opportunity to negotiate, sit down at the table. It's been done in the past when Republicans have had the majority and we've had a Democrat president. He ought to sit down with McCarthy. Both sides of the table created this mess. The debt didn't happen alone by itself on one side or the other. Republicans and Democrats for years have increased spending and added to the deficit, and they ought to fix this thing together, and that's what he should do. But he's dropping the ball for the American people because Americans want us to work together on this thing, and they ought to do that.
Yeah. Mark Tepper with me this morning. And Mark, so far, not a major reaction in markets. We're higher today. Maybe that's also in response to what happened in the House. Do markets care about the debt ceiling being raised, or do they not worry about it?
They do. So if you go back to 2011, the market sold off roughly 20% during that debt ceiling debate. But most of that sell-off actually happened after a debt ceiling deal was reached. And the reason the market sold off is it was then able to digest all the fiscal austerity that was coming our way. So when we're talking about 4.8 trillion of spending that's looked to be cut over the course of this.
That's the savings,
Yeah, over the course of the next 10 years. At some point, the market is going to start pricing that in, and that's what's going to drive stocks lower.
Well, we'll see what the president says about this and whether or not McCarthy could get a meeting on the president's schedule. He says, yeah, he'll meet with him, but he's not going to talk about spending cuts.
Right, and that was cut, cap, and balance back in 2010, 2011. When we did it again in 94, where we had a plan to balance the budget over 10 years. We did it in 4 under President Clinton because there was a surplus in tax revenue, and they were able to do that. This ought to be part of the conversation. And you know, right now, so far, Biden is dropping the ball on this. So is Schumer, just by refusing, just absolutely digging their heels in and refusing to come to the table. But what Republicans did yesterday was largely unite and send something across to the Senate and to President Biden saying we're willing to negotiate, and that is a great first step.